unstructured data. So what I'm going to do, I wanted to get the text that's there on that particular button, right? So I'm going to give it, I'm going to take the get text, and I have given the selector, right? And now I wanted to get the value. So this value, I'm going to store it in a variable. So for that variable, I have given a name called login page. So how to create a variable? If you're not sure how you can create a variable, just give a shortcut like control plus K. So that will set the variable. So I'm going to give login page. But you have seen the login page variable is already existing. So let's see what happens if you give the variable that already exists. So it has thrown me an error, right? So now you're familiar with how to create a variable. And once after we creates the variable, we have to check what is the value in that particular variable. So to check it, we have given a message box. Message box is nothing but just like a print statement that we are giving. Okay, so that's one thing. And get text is, if you just see the selector here, it will return you the value that's there inside inner text. If you wanted to get the value that's there inside any other attribute, so we have seen different types of attributes, correct? We have href, inner text, then parent class. All these are different attributes that we have, correct? So let's say I'm going to take title, okay, and then I'll validate, and then I'll say save. So now I wanted to get different attributes, so I have to use get attribute activity. And if you just observe, inside this we have multiple options, right? You have you can just take whatever the attribute that is available there. So now I'm going to take the title, okay, so I'll just save it. And then here, in the same way how we have done for the get text, I'm going to get the result in this particular variable which I have declared, a name value, and that value I'm going to print it in a message box. So what I'm going to do, let's run this particular workflow. So make sure before you run this, you close the previously opened same sessions. So if you see here, okay, is okay, this opened here, right? So if you see here, I am getting the value from this particular text box, which is login. And the second value which I have given is a title, that I wanted to extract the title. So it has to return me the title. So if you see, title has been returned. Online shopping site for mobiles, electronics, furniture, grocery, lifestyle, books, and more, right? The same title has been displayed over here. So it has extracted me the title. So in the same way, we have these two attributes, these two activities that we can use in order to extract the unstructured data. So the major portion that plays here is the selectors. So based on the selectors only, you can get the exact value from a particular web application. So I'd like to check if you have any questions regarding the same. You can just let me know in the chat. Do you have any questions till now what we've discussed? Yes, no, something in the chat you can just mention. Based on that, I can go ahead. Okay, thank you, Alok, for letting me know. Okay, now I'm going to the next part. Just trying to present. Okay, I think it's already presenting. Okay, so now we are familiar with the unstructured part. We have seen how we can extract the unstructured data. So now let's see a few activities, how we can extract the data when the data is structured, right? So let me first show you what I mean by structured data. Let's run this workflow, and it will take you to that page, and then I can explain what is the structured data mean. Okay, I'm going to stop the bot. So if you just observe in this page, the information on my application page is like I'm having the data of laptop, right? Here the data is, we have the images of all the laptops, and we have the names over here. We have all the specifications or the features of this particular laptop, and we have the price and all the information like what is the offer and everything. So this is a pattern that it is following, correct? So this is a structured data. So if you wanted to extract the information from this particular application, what you're going to do, you can do this instead of, if you just observe here, I've typed laptop and then you see there are 692 results, right? So instead of going and picking each data or writing any script for extraction of the data is really a big thing. So let's see now how we can extract this huge data like 692 results for this application, right? So if you just go over here, we have all these pages, right? My robot's gonna process all the pages and it will extract all the data, all the information, and give me into an Excel. So let's see how easily we can scrape this data and how quickly we can do that. So I am going to show you first. So we are sure, right? Like what is an open browser? It's the same. You just have to go in and open the browser. This is just an activity to maximize the window. Let's say if the application is in minimized state, there are chances that we miss out some information. So we are maximizing the window. And so if you see, we haven't checked the type into activity, correct? So this is a type into activity. So just go in here and just give type into. So you will get type into, just pull it and drop it over here. So where exactly you wanted to type, here you have to provide the input, the selector, and what is the input that you want to type in. So just indicate on the screen. So here I wanted to type the text, right? So I'm just going and clicking on the search text field. So it provides me with the selector. So you can just go, but if you see, it's not a valid selector. So what I'm going to do, I have to go to UI Explorer and I have to make the selector robust, right? So for that, what I'm going to do, first priority has to go to ANAME. So I'm going to ANAME, search for products, and I'm not going to take any other thing, and I can take type, which is of type text. So I'll just validate and then highlight. So if you see, it's of red, right? It got highlighted. And then I'm going to take this text, or I'll just save it. So it gets saved into my selector, okay? And once it's done, we have told the robot where it has to type in the data, but we haven't provided what data has to be typed into. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give laptop, but then after typing laptop, we are either clicking on the search button, or I'm going to hit enter, right? So we have certain small tips in order to make in order to reduce the time activities that we are using. So let's say if you're writing a code, okay, if you're from programming background, you're very familiar that your code has to be concise, right? If you can reduce a piece of code, that definitely make the code as the best version of it, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you two approaches here. So here we have an option called send hotkey, and we have something called as click activity, right? So if you just observe, I have mentioned you, I can either click on the search icon so that my robot will goes into this page, or let me just show you what we are actually doing. So initially my robot will open this flipkart.com and it will type like laptop, right? Once after I type laptop, we are not getting the results. Either I have to click on search, or else, sorry, or I have to hit on enter, right? So either of these two actions has to be done. So what I'm going to do, in order to click, what I have to do, I have to indicate, sorry, I have to indicate and I have to click on this search button, right? Or else I have to send hotkey. Whatever the actions that we are doing through keyboard, that can be sent through hotkeys. So for that, what I have to do, I have to select the key, which is enter, right? So these two things can be done. I mean, that enter thing can be done in any of the ways. But then now I'm going to show you very small way, which will eliminate these two activities. So inside type into, we have an option called send window message. So if you just enable this property, you can send the hotkeys inside this particular type into activity itself. You don't have to take one more activity. So just go and enable, make this as true. By default, it will not be true. So just enable send windows message and then given this hotkey, which is K enter, right? After laptop, just append it with K enter. So that will do the action. That will, after entering the laptop, it will hit on enter, right? So till here we are clear with how we are going to the results page. So once we are here, so what I'm going to do, I'll just show you this very clearly by making a separate sequence. So in order to extract this whole data, what I'm going to do, I'm clicking on data scraping on the design ribbon. On the design ribbon, you have an option called data scraping. So click on data scraping, and if you just observe here, we are going to extract the structured data, right? So let me first click on next. So first, what I'm going to do here, I wanted to get the name of this particular laptop. Okay, so I will click on the name, and if you see, it will shows me to select the second element. I would say next, and the second element, whatever you're pointing, has to be in pattern, has to be in aligned with the first element that we have selected. So initially I have taken the name, right? So second element also has to be name. And now if you see, it has identified the pattern. Let's say if I go into this application, if you see, all the names have been highlighted, correct? So it has extracted all the names from the first application. Okay, so let me just show you that as well. Name of laptop. So whatever the name that you gives here, that will come into our results. And if you want to extract the URL as well, you can take URL of laptop. Okay, so what does it mean by URL is, it's a hyperlink. So once after you click on this, you can go into the details of that particular laptop. Okay, so if you wanted to get the URL as well, you can select an option which is already available, like you can extract the URL. So now just let's see the preview of how this actually appears. So if you see the preview data, this is the preview. So this is all the names of the laptops that are on the page 1. And I'm just scrolling to the right. You have URL of laptop that is corresponding to that particular laptop on the left side. Okay. So if you wanted to extract any other information, let's say price, or if how much amount of offer does it has, or what's the rating that is it has, so you can extract that as well. Let's see how we can do that. So you can go to extract correlated data, just click on it, then go here and click on the price. Okay, so if you see, it is showing select second element. So now what I'm going to do, let's say first I have taken the first element's price, and now I'm going to take the name. Okay, so this is not in pattern, right? I have told you that it has to be in pattern. So let's see what happens if we don't take in pattern. Okay, I'm going to select the second element. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, let's check what it has given me under the price. Okay, so if you just observe, it has, we can just observe the prices of all web pages. It's 41,000, 31,000. So if you just observe, it has been exactly extracted the whole information, correct? So now if you just see, the maximum number of results it has taken is only 100, right? In order to make it, you wanted to get right, like in this page we have 692 results, correct? So I wanted to get all the data. So let's say when I type in mobile, it will be 1000 results, right? So it is not constant. So instead of 100, you wanted to get like whatever the results that it has fetched, you can make this number as 0. So whatever is available on the results, it can be 1000 or 2000, the results can be extracted from there. So I would just say finish, and then it is asking you that you wanted to span through multiple pages. So what does it mean actually? So if you just scroll down, you have multiple pages, correct? So it is asking you that you wanted to travel through multiple pages and then extract the data. So yes, right? So how you can travel through multiple pages? By clicking on next button. This is the selector, correct? So it is asking me, is data spanning multiple pages? Identify the element that navigates to the next pages. It could be a next button or an arrow mark, right? So I would say yes, I want multiple pages data. So I would select this next button. So that's it. We are cool with whatever the data that we wanted to extract. So now what I'm going to do, so under properties, whatever the output that I'm getting, so this is a data table, correct? So the output from this particular activity is a data table. So I wanted to give a name to this particular data table. It is there by default. So you can just go and check in here. The variable type is a system.data.data table. So it is there. So in order to read the data table, I wanted to convert the data from there into an Excel sheet. So in order to do that, we have an excuse me activity called write range. Excuse me. So I'm going to write the range into an Excel. So what I'm going to do actually here is, if you do write range, we have two activities under write range, which is Excel and workbook, right? So you can take it from workbook because Excel needs a different dependency, which is, let me show you over here. So if you see, we have an dependency, which is Excel application scope. If you're familiar about Excel automation, Excel has an Excel application scope dependency, which will take activities only if you add it inside Excel application scope. So either you can do this way or this way, but as of now, I feel this is quite, small and simple. So I would go for workbook activities. And then what I'm going to do exactly here, the output that I'm getting from this data table. So let me just show you over here. So I'm taking the workbook write range, and from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write the output from data table, which is my extract data table, into my workbook path. Let's say I wanted to write it into laptop.xlsx. So this is my workbook path, right? So as of now, I don't have my laptop.xlsx, which is my Excel sheet. So even though if you don't have that Excel available into your machine, that's gonna create one Excel. Okay. So this is how you can extract the structured data and write it into the Excel. So once after it's done, I'm just showing that is end. So let me just run this workflow, which I've already created. Before to that, you have to close any of the pre-opened applications. So I'm just going to run the file. So if you just see, it's moving. The results are moving, right? You can see here 73 to 96, 97 to 120, and the process is also really very quick. So if you just imagine that a person doing this, or or you're writing a script for it. Let's say Python is the most easiest programming language, which has many standard libraries. I have worked on Java and also in Python, so you can really implement your code in Python very easily. But then to do this piece of code, you really have to write so many lines of you have to do lines of programming, right? But if you just observe here, we have created the workflow very quickly. Not it haven't taken more than 5 minutes, right? So you can really write. The code is also very simple, and if you see, we are done with execution. It just took 53 seconds to extract whole information. It has gone into all the pages. It has gone till the last page, and you can see it has gone till the last page, and it has extracted the whole data. So what I'm going to do is just refresh this, and you have laptop.xlsx, which is having all the information, right? Price and rating as well. So when I've created this workflow, I have taken the rating as well. So you can see all the information has been provided very clearly. So just observe here. So you can see 691 data has been taken from you. So you could really relate how easily we can automate the task, right? So if you just observe, we are hardly using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 activities in order to do this particular operation, right? And also it's not taking more than a minute. So that's quickly we can create the automations by using UiPath, and you can and the work is also done very quickly. So now we have seen how to extract the data using structure, which is by using data scraping, right? And using in case of unstructured, we have used get text and get attribute. And we have also seen how you can use click activity and how you can use type into along with hotkeys. In case of, instead of sending multiple hotkeys, if you wanted to send it through text, you can just enable that send window message, and you can send the hotkeys, which will perform the action in the same activity. So these are like the type into with hotkeys. These are like small interview questions that will definitely help you, like how you can maintain the code, with how you can get the output in a precise code. All these things you can definitely keep it in your mind, and give the answers when you're trying to give an interview or something like that. This will definitely come in handy. And now till now we have seen what are the actions we can do, activities and different types of data, how we can extract unstructured. We have seen how we can use UI Explorer, and how to extract structured data, how to input data we have seen by using type into. And let's say now I'm going to show you one challenge, which is a very famous RPA challenge. So for this, what I'm going to do, let me just open the application. So this is an RPA challenge. You can use this link rpachallenge.com, which is open to everyone. I'm just trying to give you in the chat. I would like to confirm, do you have any questions till this part, or you'd like to ask anything that you're not sure about? You can just confirm me in the chat. Before I actually proceed further, it would be great. Yeah. Thank you, Aman, for confirming. So I would consider that you don't have any questions as of now. And I'd like to pick the next thing, which is inserting data into a web application. So I would like to provide a use case for you over here. Let's say you all have I believe you're all students, right? So you have your student ID, your name, your marks or something, right? So let's say before you get the results, someone has to either manually provide the data into your applications wherein you can go and check the results, or you someone has to push the data through some other software or something, right? So let's say how we can do the same part using automation. So you just have the data of everything, let's say in some place, and the data can be pushed into an application. So, or you wanted to register into something, so how you can do that? Let's say I wanted to enter my phone number and then my address, like AP State, or email. You can give in the email like harika123@gmail.com, and then your role and the last name, first name, and then the company. Okay, so these are the fields that you wanted to enter, but you have to do it through automation, correct? So in that case, let's say I wanted to provide all this information and click on submit. So it would be a straightforward task if the application is not changing the positions. Let's say I have my phone number and last name, address, first name, everything in the same manner throughout, like in all the pages. If it's the same, it's not a big challenge, right? We have seen how you can do that. I'm just going to get the selector and I will do type into, and that would do the action, correct? But let's say I click on submit. You just observe clearly over here, first I have phone number and last name, and the format is in this way, and I'm going to click on submit. And you just have to make sure if you have the text boxes in the same manner. So if you just see, once after I click on submit, all the details are changed, right? So initially we have phone number over here. So in this case, do you think your robot will fail or it will work? Let's see how we can do that. So I'll just click on submit again. This pattern has changed again, and then again it has changed. So this is not a constant format, right? This keeps on changing, and we are not sure how the robot can work in this kind of situation. So first, what I'm going to do, I'll just create a small sequence in front of you right now. So I'll say type into, and then I would pull in the activity over here, and then I indicate on screen in open in UI Explorer. And if you just observe, I'm highlighting this. So this is showing the multiple, right? So now I'm going to, so let's say I have taken email, and if you just observe here, I have shown you to go with a name, but if you just observe here, we don't have a name, right? So now what I'm going to do, how I'm going to identify this element specifically that I wanted to type it into an email, right? So how I'm going to do that? So, and before to that, let's say I click on submit. It has to highlight my, if I say highlight, it has to highlight my email, correct? So let's see where it will highlight. It's not highlighting, right? So that means it's not able to identify my selector. So how you can do that particular action? Let's check it out. So I'm going to indicate the element. So I have role in company, and I would, if you just observe, we have a something called as anchor, right? So I'm clicking on indicate anchor, and I would go ahead and choose my anchor. Okay. So anchor is something like, which is I can say the constant or stable element which is close to the element that you wanted to perform action. So let's say this is my label, and you can observe here, I'm just highlighting on this particular input. Okay, let me just take the anchor one more time, because anchor has to provide in you the value of that particular input as well. So if you just observe here, it has highlighted the role in company, but then just say submit. If you see, it has taken over here, right? So that is not my requirement. It has to go to role in company, correct? So let's check how we can do that particular part. So we have two ways in doing that. First, let me show you how we can do that using anchor. If time permits, I would like to show you how we can do that using some other activity. Okay, so first let me edit the selector. So if you just observe here, when you go and click on indicate anchor, so I'm just copying this part. So if you, whenever you click on that indicate and you're not sure that if you're on the page, you can just delay the spying of the element, that is by clicking function F2, which is a shortcut that you can use. So if you just observe here, it has taken my label, but it haven't shown me this part, right? The anchor, which is a first name. I wanted to take that. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to open here. So first I'm going to indicate the element, and then I'm going to indicate the anchor, which is a email part. So there are multiple ways you can do. So now currently I'm facing a challenge. When I'm trying to select the email, I'm not getting the anchor, right? So this is one constraint, or one limitation that we have, right? So you can just observe here, I'm not able to get the email. So as we have this constraint, I'm going to show you the second method as well, but you can choose which method is easy for you based on the convenience of the application as well. So but I would like to show if it's possible with this. So if you just observe here, we have first name got, the ANM got retrieved, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the element and indicate the anchor, which is the first name. So if you just observe here, we got this. And I have mentioned you earlier that I would never take ID because that can be robust. Okay, so in the same way, if you wanted to extract the role in company, so how you would do that? Just go indicate this particular element, and I would like to take an anchor which is close to role in company. So what I'm going to do is going to click on this, and it has provided me with ANM. So I would again delete the ID. So what I have done exactly here, if you're confused with this, let me just show you. So firstly, I have taken an input tag, but we have seen if you take the input tag, it's not identifying the field exactly. So I'm going to indicate it, like, refer it with a particular anchor. So I'm going to tell it, take the input tag, which is close to a label. So if you just see, this is a label, right? So this is my label, this is my text field, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the input of a particular field which is close to a label that has a name, role in company. So if I just highlight, it is highlighting here. Even though if I click on submit, here also it's highlighting the exact thing. So now I'm going to highlight it again, taking off and then highlighting. I think it's failed. So these are some challenges that we have with indicating anchor. That's why I have mentioned that I will show you the second way as well. But still, it should work. Let me refresh this and show you. Okay. So let me just indicate it. Okay, but I would show you here in this. So role in the company has been taken, right? And this is RPA developer is a role. I would take this particular and provide it over here. So what I'm going to do, I'll just run this small portion of the workflow and show you how this actually works. So when I run this, it has to go into role in the company and it has to provide in the data, which is RPA developer, right? So I'm just going to run. Okay, before do that, we have to open the browser. So I have already shown you how we can do that. Go to open browser activity, just pull in inside it, and I've taken the URL from here. And whatever the activities that we are doing inside this application has to be inside the do block. Okay, so that's why I've pulled it inside the do block. And every time make sure that you choose whatever the desired browser that you wanted to. And I'm going to run the file. It will open the application and it has provided in the data, correct, which is RPA developer. So now I'm going to click on submit. When it runs, it has to come and give in the data exactly over here. Only then that means whatever the selector that we have written, that is working fine. If it is not it is not stopping, or it's not getting restricted with respect to the position of the application. So I'm just going to run the file. So it has provided in the data. So I have opened this particular browser. So let's do one thing. Let's say the browser is already opened. Let's comment this code. Okay. So whatever the let's say now this is one more scenario I'm going to explain you. So let's say if you wanted to use this type into, you have to make sure that it should be either in open browser or attached browser. So what is the difference with open browser and attached browser is, let's say if you're opening a new browser page, then you have to use open browser. So in this case, I have my application open already and I don't want to open a new application. So in that case, I'm going to use whatever the already existing browser. Just indicate on the screen. Just go to that particular application and click on the application. That itself takes the application. You can just check it over here, right? So if I wanted to use the existing open application, so what I'm going to do, I don't open the application again. So that's why I don't use open browser. Instead, I keep my type into attached browser. So I'll just run. So if you see, it will not open my application, but it will use the existing application. Okay, so but then I could not see the data has been typed in over here. So let's check what is the issue. If is there something, let's try again. So it has taken, maybe I was moving my mouse, that's why it got disturbed there. So I will say submit, and now it has to type in over here. So let's check if it's working fine in this case, and then we are going to into the next part. Okay, maybe I have interrupted it. Let's see if it's working. I'm going to take off the control. Okay, so it has worked perfectly fine, right? So that's how we can do it. So here I have just created a loop. What I'm going to do here is, instead of giving the same thing again and again, I have just created a small logic. So what I have done here, I've opened the browser, I've maximized it, and just I've given a counter variable. So I've created a variable which is of type integer. Okay, so I'm giving it as a value as 1. And here I would like to explain a do while concept. So it's similar to the other programming languages. So what it actually does, do while is, first it will go to the body, it will execute all the activities that are there inside the body. So let's say and then once after the activities inside the body got executed, it will go and check for the condition, right? So here we have a counter as 1, and then I'm incrementing. So here I've given 2 activities, which is type into the role and click the submit, right? And after clicking submit, I'm incrementing the counter, and then I'm checking the condition over here. If the condition is true, then it's gonna execute it, right? So that's how a do while loop actually works. This is similar to the functionality in any other programming language. So just wanted to explain how the activity works in UiPath. So let's see what we are actually doing over here. So before to that, I would like to give one more type into with, instead of role in company, let's take something else. Let's have multiple data to be filled by robot, so that it would be interesting for you as well. So what I'm going to do, I'll just highlight this, indicate element, I'll give address. Okay, if you see the A name is not coming up, so what I'm going to do, let's check if I can take A name like this in this way. So I have my A name. After that, I'm going to indicate the anchor. So I have my address. So in this way, I'm going to take this particular value in a reverse way. But if you see, it has got over address, but I want the data to be entered into text field. So what I'm going to do is just a smart way that we can change this part from here to here because the elements are not getting highlighted by Explorer. Right? But then just highlight and check if you are getting the correct values. So let me just take the value from here to the Explorer and then highlight. If you see, address is shown. Let's check if this is same. It's correct, right? So I'm going to save address. This is address, let's say Hyderabad, and take one more. In the same way, you can just take in multiple things. Next we can take last name and go to indicate anchor and take last name. It's quite easy, right? So this has not come up. So just be smart enough, just go in a other way around and just take the A name. And if by this time you should be familiar with what we are actually doing, just get the data from that previous value and then you can edit the selector, correct? Just validate it. Whatever you're doing, try to validate it. Okay, and then go over here and then paste the values and then save it. So we have taken 3 values. The last name, I would say, let's go to first name as well along with the last name. Go to edit selector. You can either give it directly or you can go in and just take the name. That is the most constant attribute that you can take. It's the same, but then make sure that it's not wrong. So we have taken 4 attributes here, 4 values, and we are going to type it. So I will just run the file and it will execute, before to which I'll just close it. So before to that, I'm going to show you that it's gonna run 4 times and it will enter all these values. So let's say if you wanted to check everything clearly, I will try to insert some delay over here. Or for the last, it would be fine. Before it's clicking, I'm going to give some delay, which is 2 seconds. Okay. So it's gonna open the application. If you see, it's writing every detail, right? And in the right place, correct? You see, every detail is written in a right place, even though the fields are not properly aligned, like it's changing, right? That's what I said, dynamic fields. So every detail is in the correct position. So it has executed 4 times as per the logic. So this is one way of doing by using indicate anchor. And I will also show you the other way, which is anchor base. This is one activity. Let me just pull it over here. And if you just observe here, it needs 2 different activities. Okay. So the first one is drop action activity here. Action means what action we are going to do. We are going to type, right? So we wanted to type this. So I'm just copying this particular activity and dropping over here. Okay. So just pasting over here. But for this, whatever the value I'm giving, it doesn't have to be with anchor. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'll just delete this anchor and indicate the element. So we have given address, first name, last name, role, right? So let's take company name. I'm going to take company name and it's of type input. And then I just say save. Here I have to give anchor. So till now what we have done inside the same selector, right? We have taken the same activity and inside this particular selector we have given an anchor. This is also an anchor, but this is inside the same selector, but I want to provide the anchor here. So to provide the anchor here we should use find element. This is another activity. So I'm going to use find element. For this I'm going to use the indicate. So I'm going to take the company name. I'm going to, so if you just see, I didn't get the label properly, correct? So I'm going to UI Explorer and then just add the ANN, right? So it's getting highlighted, correct? So what I'm going to do, I'll just save it and then say okay. So how this actually works is we have the action that needs to be done and this is the anchor, but we haven't set the position of the particular elements, right? So if you just observe here, we have our text field here and the company name, right? So it's like our required field is below that particular value. So you have your anchor base, go to properties, and if you just see anchor position, where is the anchor located? On the top, right? Anchor is on the top, so you have to move it this way. First anchor would come and later this action is done, correct? So this is how we are going to do. And this would actually provides the company name, which is UiPath. So what I'm changing here is I'm copying this anchor base and I'm pasting over here. And now I'm going to provide in the values for the other fields, which is phone number. Okay, so for that I don't have to change the value here, right? This is input, this is constant. The only thing I'm going to change here is this ANM. So for that I'll just go and change the things in UI Explorer. I'll just indicate, go and select phone number and then select the phone number. It's done, and then save it and then say okay. This got saved, and then just provide in the phone number value here. Okay, the same way you can do for this. So we are left with one more element, I believe, one more text field. I'm going to indicate we've got all these fields and the only one is email, and just say save, say okay. So we are good with this. Now let's check how we are going to enter the data. Okay, so after this, before I click submit, I would say we will validate all the data. Okay, so before do that I'm going to close this application and then I'll run it. Okay, so if you just observe here, we have phone number, first name, last name, address, role, this is the company name and email. Every detail, whatever we've given, all the details have come and placed in the exact text boxes, correct? There is nothing that has entered inappropriately. Everything is mapped properly, correct? And then I'll say okay, and then it clicks on submit, and then it's going for the next page. So let's validate over here. First name, role, email, last name, phone number, address, and company, right? Let's do the validation. This is role correct, address, phone number, last name, email, first name, and company. So Here also everything is perfect and the robot has entered all the details perfectly, correct? So that's how you can develop this. So this is one of the major challenges that we face mostly, right? When the application is changing, even though you have to make sure that whatever the code that you have developed, that should not break, it has to work, right? So these are the two ways I have shown you, correct? So even though if you in the first way, even though if you couldn't identify the element using a UI Explorer, we have chosen a smart way, which is upside down. You first go select the label and then copy that code and then select the anchor inside this particular selector. So which is this way, right? You can give the anchor inside the selector itself. And the second way is using anchor base. So if you're going for an interview, then if you're asked a question like what are the challenges that you face when the elements or the text fields are changing dynamically in an application, you can choose these two ways. You can either go for the selectors that has an anchor itself, or you can go for anchor base. So I would personally suggest you go for anchor base because this is the perfect way. We have seen some challenges that we're facing when we are going for an anchor inside the selector itself, right? The best way is going for anchor base, but this is little bit when you look at the activity itself, it's huge, but still end of the day we want the code to be working properly, correct? So anchor base is the perfect one, but these are, you should be familiar with all the ways. So this is one way and this is the other way. We can choose when the applications are changing dynamically. So I believe this is clear and we have covered everything. And let's come to the challenges part. So when I say challenges, let's say we have an application, okay, and you have developed the application, everything is working fine. But if you, we will see most of the applications changes all the time, right? Let's say I have my RPA challenge itself. Okay. So tomorrow, my client would come to me and say, I want this application in a different way. I don't like the UI of this particular application. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the application, right? But there's an automation that's been developed on the same application. So when I change the version of the application or the UI of the application, how it looks, there are chances that my automation is going to break. So how we can overcome these challenges, or at least to some extent how we can keep these things in consideration as risk, and how we can implement the best practices. So that's a topic called as object repository. So if you're quite good with understanding of what I've explained till now and how you can do all these things, then you should also take the next step in order to understanding the challenges what a developer face when they are doing UI automation. Because end of the day, when we are developed something and move to production, maintenance is one thing that you have to consider. And in maintenance also, there are chances that the robot is supposed to break when the application gets changed or upgraded. So at that time you have to come up it all depends on the way that the automation has been built. So if the automation has been built perfectly, even though the bot gets breaked, it doesn't take long time to fix the application in production. Because in production, whatever the small change that you do, that will give a lot of that incurs a lot of loss for the client. So when we are developing itself, we have to keep all this risk into consideration, and you have to develop. So now I'm going to explain about the challenges, correct? So so these challenges, considering these as a challenges, UiPath has come up with a great idea called as UiPath Object Repository. So if you wanted to learn more about it, it's kind of advanced topic, I would say. So but then it's I have given the topic in my channel. You can check the channel Object Repository video that will clearly explain you what are the risks that would come up and how you can overcome those. So this is kind of advanced one, but if you are familiar with all these things, how to develop and everything, but once if the project goes into production, if you're familiar with the advanced things, then definitely it would be a piece of cake for you. And also this is one of the interview tip I can give you. Like if you as a fresher, if you're trying for any job, if you say that this would be the challenges and this will be the solution for it, definitely the interviewer will be impressed by you, the skills that you have. So you would stand a step ahead when compared to all other crowd. So I would suggest you, when you're learning a topic, try to learn everything, like how you can develop, how you can automate, and what are the challenges and what's the solution as well. So that's why I'm going to pick this up in my actually I don't have to do this, but then it would be a definitely outstanding thing if you can learn as a part of your learnings. So that's why I just picked it up. So if you are interested, I would suggest you just go over this. I have explained very clear with an example, so that would definitely help you out. So that's all I wanted to project as a part of this session. We have covered everything that we have to, and also we have 10 more minutes. I would say if you have any questions, you can just put forward your questions in the chat, and I would like to answer them. Um, any questions, guys, or any doubts? Feel free to ask questions, because that's where you learn so many things. If you have any questions regarding interviews also, that would be fine, because sorry, anywhere we can practice. Okay, so Amman, to practice it, so I would suggest you an academy course. Let me just give you the link as well. That's a very good question, because once after you learn, practicing is the place where that will help you to grow, right? So that's a very good question. Now we have UiPath Academy. Let me give you the link. So you have UiPath Academy. You can all go and sign in over there. Once after you sign in, you will have the courses. So you can go do practice over there. And also I have given you RPA challenge link also in the chat. That will definitely help you to do the practice. Like I have given you the session on RPA challenge that we have done in this session today. So you can go and try, check it out, like how you can implement, right? Because the more you practice, the more you learn, right? So try to do the one that I have shown in the today's session by using rpachallenge.com. So may I know like which year you are from, or is it like you're going to try for any interviews after the after any soon, maybe 1 year or something like that, so that I can provide you the interview tips as well. So you can just check it out on my channel. I have interview tips as well. That would definitely help you if you're going for any interviews, because in all the sessions where I have given the sessions for students, most of the questions were how to crack interview. So that was a big challenge, because once after we learn, everyone would try to go and search for a job, correct? So that was a big question I've been always asked. So try to practice. That's a UiPath Academy link I have provided you over there. Try to practice, and definitely you will get the job that you decide. So guys, do you have any questions? We still have 5 more minutes. If you have any questions, please do let me know through chat. So I don't see any questions coming up. So Rohit, if that's it, I think we can end the session.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm audible?
Your voice is not audible for me. Hello? Yeah, Rohit.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. If anyone have any doubt, then they can ask. So can we wrap up the session, ma'am?
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't see anyone asking any questions. I think we can close it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for today's session. It was
Thank you so much for everyone, because I think it's a Saturday. You all have made time for this session. Thank you so much.
yeah, ma'am. Thank you also, please. You have given us such great knowledge. about RPA. Okay.
Yep. Thank you. It's my pleasure to share the
Thank you,
knowledge.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for today's session.
Guys, I suggest you go and subscribe my channel because you will get videos more often. So if you want to learn, definitely, you have to start from somewhere, right? So I have videos from the beginning till advanced session. I have videos on chatbot as well. So it's just a 30-minute session. You can build a chatbot. So try to check all the videos. Everything that I have developed is right from the scratch. So you can learn a lot more things from my channel. Just go and check it out. If you like the videos, do subscribe to my channel, and that will be a great encourage for me as well. So yeah, Rohit, that's all from my side, and it's over you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We'll definitely go and check your channel, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we think it will be more helpful.
Yep.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, guys, for
Thank
attending
you,
today's
guys.
session. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.